So despite the board selling our captain behind our back before the last episode, we've steadied the ship, but today's the real test as first, take on second. So we're travelling to Nurnberg for a top-of-the-table clash, but the league is looking rather healthy at the moment. We've built up an 8-point gap ahead of Nurnberg, and today we will play our 15th game of the season. We'll show you the form since the last episode. We haven't remained on our winning run. We did lose a game just 2 games after the last episode. We didn't lose the game immediately after the last episode. We beat Karlsruhe 2-1. But you will see we went through a bit of a sticky spell where we were struggling to score more than 2 goals in the game. And we were conceding pretty regularly as well, and some of our wins were a little narrow. The next game after that Karlsruhe game was against Hanover, and we lost 1-0. We didn't look that great in it, as Felix Nemecha scored a penalty to give them a 1-0 victory. We bounced back to winning ways by beating Fortuna Düsseldorf, but that was another tight game. The next encounter was a little more convincing. We played Holstein Kiel. We won 2-0 with goals through Sergio Cordova in the 14th minute, and then Hugo Sikwe put us 2-0 up before half-time, and it was the same scoreline in our next game. This time Kubica came up, and he's been playing at left-back fairly regularly since we lost our captain, and he's doing none too bad in that role. And then our old favourite Rainer Raschkel, the top scorer in Bundesliga 2 this season, added the second in the 73rd minute before we had another storming victory. In fact, our last 3 league games have all been impressive. We beat Duisburg 5-1, a brace from Rabbi Matundo, an own goal, and a brace from young Geronimo showed that even though we'd rotated players into the squad, we were still performing well. We then narrowly lost in the cup to Bundesliga side Frankfurt. We took them to extra time. We went a goal down early. We managed to equalise with just a couple of minutes of normal time left. We were leading 2-1. But then, unfortunately, Frankfurt equalised just before the end of the game, and they struck again in extra time to send us out of the cup. But we have rallied with 2 4-0 victories in the league. The first was against a lower table side. We managed to put 4 goals past them, Raschkel, Geronimo, Rotondo and Ganvula getting the goals for us before we went into our most recent game against Heidenheim. We had a goal disallowed early. It was poised at 0-0 at half-time, but we came roaring back in the second half to score 4 unanswered goals through Cordova, Sikwe and Rainer Raschkel again, all of which means that we've picked up, we're back scoring goals again, and we're keeping the occasional clean sheet. And if we could beat Nurnberg in today's game, we might even end the episode as many as 11 points ahead of the team that's in second place. And one of the things that's really helped us during the first 14 games of the season has been how strong we've been from set pieces, in particular, how many we've scored from corners. In our previous jobs, I've really struggled to get the best out of our set piece opportunities, and it's been picked up when we've been applying for jobs. Some big teams have turned us down due to our apparent lack of making set pieces an important part of our strategy. Well, I don't think you could level that against us at Schalke so far. We've scored 6 corners. The next best team, Fortuna Düsseldorf, have only scored 2. And it's been a real hallmark of our play that even though we don't have the strongest corner takers in the world, we have some absolute giants, both from defence, but also from midfield and our attacking 3 as well, that are able to wreak havoc in the opposition box and have helped to score some vital goals that have just got us over the line in some tight encounters. One of the things we were keen to do at Schalke was to try and leave a little bit more of a legacy than we might have left at our previous clubs and promote some young players to take the club forward after we've left. And pleasingly, our under-19s are top of their table as well. It's a division that includes the like of Mönchengladbach, Bayer Leverkusen and Borussia Dortmund, but we've got the top 2 scorers in that division, all 3 of the top average ratings, as well as the leading assist maker as well. And you've got to bear in mind that some of the more talented youngsters are already playing in our first team. Rainer Raschkel is actually the top goal scorer in Bundesliga 2. He's just turned 19. When he was 18, the media were branding him in his description as potentially the next Jurgen Klinsmann. He's got 12 goals in 14 games and has been pretty consistent as well. He's not been scoring his goals in batches. He's been chipping in regularly throughout the campaign. Other youngsters that we've got inside the squad and have got game time include Emre Aydas, a 6'6" centre-back. He's now made plenty of substitute appearances and is still averaging over a 7, despite the fact that he's not starting games. A couple of the others are getting a little bit grumpy that they're not getting more first-team football. Ogajan Duran really is itching to start more games. We've given him 1 start and 4 appearances off the bench, and he's actually performed pretty well, averaging a 7.6, so maybe he's quite within his rights to be asking for more game time. We're going to be playing his former club today, but we've got a couple of other youngsters that have been performing pretty well. Geronimo is a 23-year-old Spaniard. We've been bringing him off the bench, and he's been chipping in with goals, but a player who is training very well, even though when we've been giving him game time, his performances haven't been great, is Miroslav Milic. He's leading the players in terms of training average rating on a weekly basis. His morale's pretty high because we've been praising him. Unfortunately, whenever he comes onto the pitch, he's not been as strong as some of his teammates, and he does have this trait of being a little bit inconsistent in his play, so maybe that might be holding him back somewhat. For today's game, we've got a pretty much full-strength squad to choose from. Our backup left-back is going to be injured, but we can probably navigate that without too many problems. We are going to bring Ganvula back into the squad. He's going to take the place of Matondo, and we're just going to rotate our front three around a little bit. This is probably our first choice front three. Just coming back from injury is Frank Chajou. He's been out for a couple of months now. He wasn't performing too well in the couple of games before he got injured, but he's certainly going to be back on the bench for us, but maybe not in time for today's game. We're going to have to find another player to take the place of Gurney on the bench. Otherwise, we're looking pretty strong. We've got a healthy lead at the top of the table. We've played brilliantly in our last 3 games, but today is going to be a different caliber of opposition. Let's show you what we're up against in the scout report. Today we're on the road for a tricky away tie as we travel to the city of Nurnberg, where we take on the local side who've won 9 Bundesliga titles. But Nurnberg have been in the second tier for 4 consecutive seasons, and they placed 6th last time around under their new boss Dieter Hecking. He's guided the club to 2nd place this season, and he'll be hoping for a win as Nurnberg hosts Schalke 04. So anytime top plays second, it's always going to be a tense and nervous affair. There's probably more riding on the game for Nurnberg, if I'm honest, than for us, because even if we lose this game, we'll still have a 5-point lead ahead of 2nd place in the table. But we would like to try and really assert our dominance at the top of the league by getting another win. To that aim, we're only 3 minutes into the game, and we've got the ball deep in our defence, and we've sprayed it over to the right where Sequay has got acres of space and a little bit of pace, and he's taken on his fullback, and Gavula has sent a header over the bar early. It's a lively start to this match. We're only 5 minutes in now, and we've got the ball again. Again, it's Sequay, who's got acres of space once more on the right. He's pinged the ball all the way over to his opposite fullback, Kubica. Kubica is 2-footed, and that's meant that he has been cutting inside as well as going down the line. Eventually, we get some delivery into the box, and we've taken an early lead. And this is actually a well-worked goal. Kubica is involved. He's gone into the box. He's laid it back, and it's Bujaleb who's got the ball over. And it is a smart-headed finish for a vital 1-0 lead. So after a lively opening, the game has quietened down a little bit. We're on the 30-minute mark, and Nurnberg have sent in a corner. We've dealt with it pretty well, although rather than win the ball on the halfway line, we've let our opponents nick it. They've gone through, and our keeper has had to bail us out there. Zingale made a smart stop. I'm not sure how much he knew about it, but he's turned it around the post, and now they've got another set play. We've headed it clear. It's not gone out of play, though. They're going to get another chance to cross. We can't get our tackles in, and they've recycled possession. Fortunately, it comes to no avail. It's a corner for us this time. We've slung it to the back post, and we've cracked the bar with the effort, and they've cleared it behind for another corner. This shows you how dangerous we've been looking. We rotate between playing our corners to the near post, the far post, and trying to just land it on top of the keeper and see if we can just bundle it over the line, and it's worked effectively so far this season, although we're still looking for it to take effect in this game. We've got to half-time with a very narrow lead, and since going ahead, the game has been pretty even. I don't think this one's won yet. So the second half is underway. We don't have many terrible performances from our players, but we've also got plenty of average ones, not many above a 7 at the moment, as Cordovar had a clear sight of goal inside the 6-yard box, and he's volleyed one wide of the post. At least it's us doing the pressing now. We're coming down our right once more. That seems to be a profitable area of the pitch this game. Burrito's got the ball. He's gone back to Bujaleb, and now Adley, who's curled home a wonderful effort. We needed that one, by the way. And what a goal that is by Adley, a player who has been doing very well, getting plenty of assists in central midfield. But this time he's got a goal for us. He's fed the ball, what, about 25, maybe 20 yards outside the box, and he has curled an effort past the Nuremberg keeper, and that allows us to make a couple of changes now with a 2-goal lead. With 10 minutes to play, we've now made all 3 of our changes, 2 of them being up front, 1 in central midfield, and it seems like it's just killed the game. We've got to the 89-minute mark. Nuremberg have a throw-in. We've got to try and navigate this last minute plus 4 minutes of stoppage time, and we will put that gap even greater between us and the teams below us. We've got to try and make sure we don't concede here, though, otherwise it could be a very nervy last few minutes. And they have had an effort on goal. It was a volley from the edge of the 6-yard box. It's drifted wide of the post. 92 minutes on the clock now, and this game is still not over. Nuremberg have come forward again. We've missed a header in the defensive areas. They've sent another ball into the box. Again, it's gone wide of the post. We have been a little fortunate at times during this game, but the results of the team below us mean that we are now 10 points clear of Hanover, who've leaped over Nuremberg, who we are now 11 points clear of in that promotion playoff place. It looks like plain sailing, doesn't it? But the caveat is that the January transfer window is just around the corner, and despite our best efforts, Schalke are hemorrhaging cash. We've now gone back above our wage budget because we handed out some contracts to players to try and remove their release clauses. That will help us in January. What won't is that we've gone into £7.5 million worth of debt, and we've got a board that have already proven that they're prepared to accept big offers for our star players when they come in. By the time you come back, we'll know whether we've lost players or whether we've kept our squad together. And whilst we go and play a few more fixtures, why don't you check out this episode next? It's full of clubs that might provide you with a little bit of inspiration for your next Football Manager adventure, whenever that might be.